ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this wonderful broadcast. In this our teaching today, I am going to be giving us information that we need to know for we to function effectively and become productive and prolific in our place of endeavors, especially as it concerns the use of our computer, our laptops, and our systems, including our phones. So, I am going to be focusing on this important topic captured computer vision syndrome, otherwise known as digital eye strain. I am Dr. Chidiebere, your favorite optometrist. Sit put as we go down on this wonderful journey. Thank you for joining us. Computer vision syndrome, otherwise known as digital eye strain, is simply a group of eye or vision related problems that do arise from prolonged use of our computer. When you use computer for a long time without eye rest, without proper sitting position, without observing the necessary ambient lighting that needed to be in the room that your computer is being used, it can bring about the cause of computer vision syndrome. Because of this explanation I just gave, there are different symptoms that do arise with the use of the computer. And these symptoms I'm going to be laying down with an acronym, bane of headache. When you hear the word bane of headache is simply spelled as B-A-N-E of headache. The B there stands for blurriness of vision, the A stands for amount of dry eye, the N stands for neck and shoulder pain, while the E stands for eye strain and headache. So when you talk about blurriness of vision, improper sitting or improper use of the amount of light that ought to be used can make somebody to come down with blurriness of vision when they are using their computer. Then the A stands for amount of dry eye. Amount of dry eye arises when there is improper or uncorrected refractive error, especially when an individual is not blinking as he or she ought to blink when they are using their computer. Then the neck and shoulder pain arises from improper sitting position and the distance that you are sitting from your chair to the computer monitor or your screen. The eye strain comes when the light in the computer is not in tandem with the light in your room. So at no point must the light in your room be higher than that your computer screen is showing, or that from the computer is lower than what the light in the room is showing. Then the headache arises properly from uncorrected refractive error that an individual might have. Because of this, it is going to lead to having computer vision syndrome. So the symptoms as I lay down is the pain of headache, which means blurriness of vision for B, A is amount of dry eye, N stands for neck and shoulder pain, while E stands for eye strain of headache. So you having these symptoms has already pinpointed that you might be having computer vision syndrome. What are the probable solutions to this bane of headache are listed as the symptom of computer vision syndrome? The first probable solution that you as an individual can observe for you never to come down with computer vision syndrome is your sitting position. Your sitting positioning when you are in your office or your school or your place of work is very important. You must make sure that when you are sitting, that your two legs are directly on top of the floor. At no point must one of your legs be raised, probably placed on the top of the chair, or if your two legs are hanging on the air. When this occurs, it can lead to you having computer vision syndrome. Then, at no point must you lay your two arms on top of the keyboard. It is important that your arms, your hand, and your fingers must be made to be free on the keyboard, because when you are laying your arms, it means that you're aching your back for you to come close to the keyboard, and this can lead to one of the bane of headache I mentioned of before, which is neck and shoulder pain. So your arms must be made to be free on the keyboard and your back resting at the back of your chair. So when you observe this correct sitting position, there are high chances that you're not going to come down with computer vision syndrome. Then, secondly, when I am using my computer, my monitor, it's very important that the eyesight from the screen or the monitor to my eye level and maintain at a correct positioning. It is been observed, or it has been advised, that the distance that your eye must meet with the screen should be from 20 to 28 inches, which when converted is about 50 to 70 cm. Then, from the center of the screen, at no point must I be aching for me to see the screen, or must I be sitting too low for me to see the screen. From the center of the screen, it's been advised that it should be from 4 to 5 inches, which when converted is about 10 to 12 cm. So when you have observed this correct positioning from your eye level to your screen monitor, you are going to minimize the chances of having computer vision syndrome. Then C, the amount of light in your environment is very important. The brightness of your laptop, your computer, your desktop is going to be in consonance with what you have in your environment. At no point must you have a high brightness or overhead light which is going to overshadow what you are seeing in your system. So even if you are using your light in your office, it's very important that it should match that which is in your system in order to prevent any form of eye strain. And it's been advised that you use the current model of laptops or the current model of desktop which has a very well illuminated screen. Then the next one is for you to observe a blinking phenomenon when you are using your system. At no point must you continuously focus on your system without observing blinking. When you blink, it helps to prevent you from coming down with an amount of dry eye. So coming down with an amount of dry eye normally occurs when an individual is not blinking the way he or she ought to blink. So even if you are using your computer or using your system, it is advised that you blink often. Then I am going to teach us the next thing that we call the 20-20-20-20 rule. That is quad 20. 20 into 4 places. 20-20-20-20 rule. The first 20 there stands for inches. So it's been advised, as I said from the beginning, that the eye level that your computer must maintain with the screen should be at 20 to 28 inches. So the first 20 there stands for 20 inches. Then the second 20 stands for 20 minutes. At every point of time you are working on your system, at every 20 minutes, it's been advised at the next 20 to rest your eye for 20 seconds by looking away at a distance of 20. At no point it's been advised, as you are seeing on my table, my desk, I have multiple gadgets here. I have my laptop, I have the desktop too. So at no point it's been advised for you to be looking at different gadgets at a time. When you do that, the high chances of you coming down with eye strain can arise. So even if I'm using more than one gadget, I'm using 2 gadgets or 3 gadgets, at every 2 hours I'm using those gadgets, it's been advised that I take a screen break. What I mean by screen break is looking away from the screen for 15 minutes. So finally, as we are now acquainted with some of the symptoms that present in individuals with computer vision syndrome, of which I laid down as bane of headache, it's imperative that when you have observed all the probable solutions I have listed, from positioning to the looking away from the screen, ambient lighting, and also blinking, and some of the symptoms still present, is advised that you visit your eye care practitioner, possibly your optometrist, who is in a better position to have your eye examined and checked, and know whether there is any uncorrected refractive error that will be mitigating or presenting as this computer vision syndrome. And I promise that once you have done that, you will have your life enjoyed. Thank you for joining us. I remain Dr. Chidiebere, your favorite optometrist. Bye.